going on, guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. Today I have a match against Thomas. This is going to be an underused match. I'm using the same team that I was using in my stream, so it works pretty well. And this was actually before Alakazam got moved up to OU, so don't hate. But anyways, Thomas's team's looking pretty scary. I'm actually kind of afraid of the Mega Sceptile. That thing is fast as hell, and it can do a lot of damage. But anyways, let's get it started. So I decided to lead off with Hitmontop. He actually ends up leading off with the Crobat. This is quite unfortunate because I was actually thinking he was going to lead off with the Galvantula, so I'd be able to get a fake out, break its sash, and then perhaps make it so he wasn't going to be able to get up his sticky webs. But that's not the case. Here I decided to bring in Donphan on the incoming Brave Bird, considering I knew that I was going to be able to, take a little less than half damage on that, and that is exactly what happens. So that's perfect. Raleigh can take one more of these Brave Birds if he decides to stay in, and I'm just going to go for the Stealth Rocks as he actually does stay in. Goes for one more Brave Bird. Donphan lives that with a relatively decent amount of HP, and I am now able to get up my Stealth Rock. So that's nice. This Crobat's going to be coming in, taking some more damage and stuff like that, and his whole team doesn't really like Stealth Rock. So getting the Stealth Rocks up was pretty important, and Raleigh's looking pretty decent over here. I do not have Ice Shard. Even if I did, it wouldn't have killed that Crobat at that health. So I now decide to switch into my Suicune, knowing that I'm physically defensive as a motherfucker, and I'm able to take this Brave Bird quite nicely. So he does go for the Brave Bird again. He's just Brave Birding up a storm over there, as that's not going to do too much to long after the leftover recovery, looking pretty nice. And this Suicune was actually given to me. It's named Long. I don't know if it has something to do with like the ribbons that he's got coming out of his ass. Overall, I don't know. But I like this Suicune, so I use it. Anyways, now he decides to switch into the Galvantula. And I actually kind of expected that, but I went for the Icy Wind, trying to land it on the Crobats. It actually misses the Galvantula, and I'm like, that's quite unfortunate. This Suicune runs Icy Wind to get the speed drop on stuff, so here I actually expected him to go for either the Sticky Web or to overpredict, but he actually ends up just going straight for the Thunder, and that is gonna kill my Suicune for sure. I was honestly pretty positive that he was gonna go for the Sticky Web, but he just made the nice play. No prediction, and just goes for the Thunder, and that's going to kill me. So that's annoying. Now I'm going to bring in Hitmontop. I'm able to get a fake out off, and that's going to knock this thing under half, and that's pretty cool. But at this point, he is now going to go for the Volt Switch. He hasn't set up the Sticky Web yet. I'm considering he probably isn't setting up the Sticky Web because he sees that I have a Donphan and a Hitmontop on my team, so I'd be able to Rapid Spin that shit away easily. But yeah, so now he's going to bring back in the Crobat, who's going to take that damage from the rocks, actually I went for the Rapid Spin here, predicting his Galvantula to go for the Sticky Web on that last turn, but it did not happen, so I Rapid Spin nothing, and yeah, so now he's just going to go for the Defog. He's going to get rid of the Stealth Rocks on his side, and that's kind of annoying. I would have enjoyed those freaking Stealth Rocks to stay around for a little while, but that's not the case. Now he's going to send in his own Hitmontop, so we just got a nice little disco going on the battlefield as I now decide to switch, end the dance party as I now decide to switch into Alakazam. I knew that I would be able to obviously take a hit from this thing and be able to dish out a lot of damage with Psychic. He ends up actually switching out into the Hippowdon as I go for the Psychic, just trying to land it on the Hitmontop. So this Hippowdon is actually going to take this Psychic much nicer than I actually expected it to. So that kind of shows me this is definitely a especially defensive ass Hippo. So that's kind of weird. Although I do now know that I can hit this thing hard with some physical attacks, so that's cool. I want to save my Alakazam for later because that thing is focus sashed, and I'll be able to get a revenge kill with that thing later. As I decide to bring in my Donphan, and he goes for the Slack Off. So he's just slacking off over here, acting like a hippo, and Raleigh's going to eat some leftovers and get to a decent amount of HP. I'm feeling pretty confident that this thing can't kill me if it decides to go for an attack. I decided to go for a knockoff, get rid of those leftovers, as he is now going to set up his own Stealth Rocks. So that's kind of annoying, although my team doesn't really care about the Stealth Rocks. I mean, honestly, it wasn't really planned, but I have two Rapid Spinners on this team. Raleigh can Rapid Spin, and so can my Hitmontop. But I decided to set up my own rocks now. I'm like, so it's a Stealth Cock Fest you want, huh? So I'll give it to you, and now we have rocks up, so that's cool. He goes for an Earthquake, as I know Raleigh can live that quite nicely. Well, not quite nicely, obviously. I live it in the red HP, but that's fine, as now I'm going to go for an Earthquake, seeing that the special attack, he took it very nicely. The Earthquake actually does quite a bit, and he actually predicted the Rapid Spin there, going for the Stealth Rocks again, which was a misplay on his part. But I'm not really too worried about the Stealth Rocks. Honestly, I kind of just want to get damage off on this Hippowdon. So I go for one more Earthquake, and that is going to take care of the Hippo with a critical hit. I'm not sure if that critical hit mattered. It was kind of right on the verge of mattering, but honestly, who cares? Critical hits happen, honestly. But the Hippowdon is going to die, and yeah, see you later, Hippo. Now he's going to bring in the Galvantula. So here my mindset was that I don't really have a safe switch on this Galvantula, which is kind of a bummer, and unfortunately, I also don't have the Ice Shard on my Donphan. I opted to use, to give this thing knockoff rather than Ice Shard. Ice Shard there would have definitely come in handy, been able to kill that thing, but whatever. So, I see that he has Life Orb, and he's actually going to kill himself with this next Life Orb recoil, so I actually decided to bring in Muck, knowing that I can take a Thunder quite nicely. I just decided to go for a Curse. But as you'll see, that Thunder does a dickload of damage, even with a critical hit though. Muck tanks that shit quite nicely, as he's going to kill himself to his Life Orb, and Muck's like, I'm just going to curse. I'm just yelling profanities over here, just cursing up a storm as I get in an attack and defense race. So Muck is looking pretty nice. It would have been pretty fantastic had I not got a critical hit on that Thunder, but you know, what are you going to do? So now he brings in the Beyblade. I'm expecting him to probably just go for the Fake Out. The Intimidate is kind of a bummer because that, you know, negates my curse, but he actually ends up going for the Rapid Spin, which was a questionable play. He's really worried about these Stealth Rocks. He gets rid of the rocks on his side, and I just decided to go for a Poison Jab. Luckily, I do get the Poison Touch, and that is going to be a poisoned-ass Beyblade. So, you know, I never really even realized that they, like, slow down when you poison them or give him any status. Like, Paralyzed, I knew that it slows him down, but, like, his animation is just so much slower. Like, why are you so slow, man? You gotta work on your dance moves there, buddy. But anyways, Beyblade is now going to switch out. He goes into this thing, which is the Chandelure, who we have not seen yet. He's been keeping that in the back pocket, as I'm just going to set up one more Curse, considering I would like an attack raise. I'm like, alright, now I'm back to +1. I do have +2 defense, though, so that's kind of nice. I go for the Shadow Sneak here, expecting it to be a 2-hit KO. I know it can take an attack from the Chandelure, but it actually ends up not being a 2-hit KO, as the Shadow Sneak does a little bit less than half. But he lands a Fire Blast, and that is going to knock Muck down to 24 HP after the recovery, which is pretty nice. Muck is just taking them special attacks. So I go for one more Shadow Sneak, and I'm crossing my fingers for a miss, and the Fire Blast miss actually happens. So that's cool. That's one of the, you know, the downsides of using Fire Blast. Obviously, you get them misses. So Muck lives to see another day, dodging that Fire Blast. That is what I'm talking about. So one more Shadow Sneak is going to take care of the Chandelure, and that is one big threat out of the way. So that's fantastic. Now Muck is looking pretty solid over here at 50 HP. I'm honestly not too scared. But now he decides to bring in the Sceptile, and here's where it kind of gets weird. He goes for the Mega Evolution, and I was thinking if he is going to be a special attacker, I might be able to take an attack depending on what he goes for. But as you'll see, he ends up going for the Outrage, revealing that he is a physical attacking Mega Sceptile. So I was like, hey, that's pretty fucking cool. You know, you don't see a lot of those. They're pretty interesting. It could be really effective. I gotta get me one of them. But anyways, now I'm gonna switch back into my Hitmontop, as I can go for the Fake Out. I know this thing is locked into Outrage, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get that Intimidate. And that's going to make his attacks do a little bit less, but the Fake Out's gonna not do a whole lot, obviously. And, you know, at least get a little bit of damage. But now I go for the Sucker Punch, thinking that he was going to attack me, but he just goes for a Swords Dance. And I was like, holy hell, this Sceptile is fucking scary. Now he's playing with swords. Like, that is just the recipe for a sketchy-ass fucking Sceptile. But my main objective at this point is to knock him down to low enough HP to the point where I can bring in Alakazam and get a revenge kill. So I would just keep on trying to go for the Sucker Punch, landing these, doing a little bit of continual damage, as he showed me he did have Drain Punch there, which is pretty creative. And now he goes for the Leaf Blade, gets that stab, and that is going to be able to take care of Mad Outlaw. But he is at +1, considering he was intimidated. So, yeah, I'm not really too scared of this thing. I'm going to go into 2 Spoons, knowing that I would be able to live an attack. Obviously, no matter what, I do have a Focus Sash. So I'd be able to kill him with the Psychic, but he opts to switch into the Beyblade here, as I'm just going to go for the Psychic, and that is definitely going to take care of the Hitmontop. And, yeah, so that's pretty cool. He has the Crobat and the Sceptile left. So I have to make sure that I have something for this. Luckily, Alakazam does still have his Focus Sash intact, so that's pretty cool. Now he's going to bring in Radar, the Crobat. He's going to go for a Brave Bird, as that's going to knock me down to my Focus Sash, and that's actually kind of scary because I kind of needed Alakazam to take care of that Sceptile, but then I remember I do have a Hydreigon who is Hydreigon is Choice Scarf, so I'll be able to outspeed the Sceptile, which is awesome. So he brings in the Sceptile, he's going to go for the Outrage, locks himself into Outrage because he knows my last Pokemon is the three-headed dragon, so that is going to take care of Alakazam, which is a bummer, but luckily I did throw a Choice Scarf on my tripod before this match, so I am able to outspeed this Sceptile, and I almost threw a Choice Specs on this thing, almost, but the Choice Scarf came in handy, allows me to outspeed the Sceptile, and that is going to be the end of the match there. So, thank you guys for watching. That was a really close match. I really enjoyed that one. I'm having fun messing around with underused lately. Click the thumbs up button on this video if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Peace.